Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be pretty interesting. We will be talking about a potential for a rather significant system, not this one I'm showing you right now, but rather this one. The GFS, you can see, is showing it in a certain form. European doesn't agree with it, but it does show a system, the European and the GFS, and it seems to be pretty significant, large, and impactful. So it's going to be, by the way, around the 28th through 30th time frame, so a post-Christmas snowstorm. Definitely a powerful one, so we'll be addressing that. A large storm is headed for the United States and is in the making. It's growing, becoming more and more likely, so that's definitely something, a reason to make this video. So consider subscribing to this channel, guys. Consider liking this video. I really love making these videos for you, and I'm just, if you want to subscribe, please go ahead. If you don't know how to, look up a video how to do it. It's really simple. Alright, so let's get into this. So let's start off by looking at the GFS, Global Forecasting System. We look at this, we see a warm pattern. That's what we will be seeing. The only big storm really in the near future is this giant beast. Really not too powerful in itself, but it will have a lot of precip. I mean, it's basically right by the Gulf Coast, and it's just constantly sucking in all that moisture, and the rain amounts are just going to be really, really big. Up to 5 to 6 inches of rain possible. So really big amounts of rain, and some flooding is definitely possible, and that is a concern. However, this video is not about that. You notice that we go through around the 25th, 28th time frame. Basically, what we want to look at is this system right here. This is the system that's going to be coming around the 24th, so next Tuesday. Notice it could be coming into the U.S. Around California. That it basically seems like if it disappears right across the United States, it's basically gone. However, notice this second system comes in. They're both really weak, fairly weak. This one just kind of nudges it and gives it some more moisture, and we see several streaks of moisture coming through. So we see again a first system right here. It comes through. We see then another kind of little wave of rain that makes its way. But then the real system develops, just shoots out of Texas and Oklahoma. Again, this is very far out, relatively speaking, for a system. So things are going to change. The European has a completely whole different setup in mind. You can see the GFS is just showing a very elongated area of low. This one is pretty strong right here, but it has a huge precip shield. No snow with it until it reaches around the Indiana, Illinois, Missouri area. If you notice there, it starts intensifying 995, 990. Lots of rain with this. Again, the orientation of this would mean everything. If it's further to the north, more there's snow maker for them. Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois, the Chicago area, Kansas City, Des Moines, Milwaukee. However, right now, if it were to stay like this, it would be more of a, kind of like a snowmaker we just saw. Winter Storm was it Winter Storm or something on F? I already forgot its name. It came across and dumped snow across Indiana and Ohio and southern Illinois. Again, the amounts weren't too ridiculously high, but they were definitely there, and we could be looking at a similar impact zone if this holds true. Again, it's very far out, and the GFS itself is not confident in this. The only thing we're confident in, or I would say I'm pretty confident in, is that there's going to be some sort of system. Now, the strength of it is yet to be determined, and that's what I'm less confident on. But notice that it moves into the northeast with not so much snow, right? Well, notice how a second system tries developing off the coast, right? Actually, by this would be the New York City area, and that could re-intensify, and you could see more snow would be out of that. But just very interesting, as well as cold air would be on the way with this. December 30th, cold air would be on its way. So that cold air would come in a little bit earlier than previously thought. Notice we see a reinforcing shot with a nice little clipper going into the United States. Some lake effect snow showers ramping up across Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then New York State. Notice by the time we get through that, we have another system. This one's a powerful one. It comes off the coast into Southern California, and this one just rides through. Will this one occur? I mean, that's just ridiculously far out. But I'm just trying to show you that, look, the pattern's active. The cold air is plentiful early January. This warm-up won't last long. Even if the model is over-exaggerating the cold at this point, it seems as if, the first 5 days, 6, 7 days of January, max, where it could be the warmest. I'm going to give it till January 10th at the very earliest. At the very latest, where it's going to turn into a cold pattern. I think it's going to be closer to around New Year's Eve. or New Year's Day, the New Year's time frame. So really the warm air is just going to be through the 20th, which is now, up until Christmas and a little bit of days past that. But after that big storm that could possibly form, I mean, that could be a pattern changer. So let's look at the total snowfall accumulations with this, assuming a 10-to-1 ratio, so it may not be the most accurate. Notice the amounts aren't too impressive with this, according to the GFS. Again, the placement, the timing is everything, so the snow may quickly just go up if this were a different track. Notice that the next system, the one that was traveling down further to the south, could also produce a little bit of snow, but not much with this one. But if you go back a couple model runs, let's go back to 18Z Thursday, they were showing a rather more significant system across more in the Midwest, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Now, again, that just goes to show you the variability of the models. If we were to look at, say, the Canadian, I haven't actually looked at this model, so I don't know if they're forecasting a system. Looks as if they may be. So let's go to the MSLP ring/frozen. Okay, so they're showing a system that's most important. As you know, that's really what they're at least agreeing on, except this one keeps it a low tracker. It tracks to the south and doesn't really go into the northern US like that other previous system, like the GFS shows. Notice it shows some heavy snow across the panhandle, but then that's about it. If we were to look at the European model, see, this is what made me, kind of push my intuition and really pushed me to make this video, as the GFS and the European are really agreeing that there will be a system. And the storm system looks pretty strong, pretty powerful, and there looks to be some heavy snow with it. Again, right now the models aren't showing the snow with it, really, the GFS, because it's of the timing and the placement of the cold air. But I'm telling you, when there is a storm with that strength, usually, especially around the winter time, December, January, prime for those storms, we see quite a bit of snow with that. You'll notice that the European kind of takes this system from the south. It looks as if it takes it from the north, but it's really out here, kind of transfers its energy through here, starts developing, and really bombs out right here, and that would bring quite a bit of snow across the northeast US as well. So if we were to go to the windy.com and show you the total European snowfall amounts, you can see it's more impressive than what the Canadian and GFS were really showing. It's more centered across the Great Lakes, but it definitely would bring snow into Pennsylvania, into Boston, into New York, upstate New York, Utica, Ithaca, Syracuse, Buffalo, Binghamton. All of these locations would be seeing snow. Again, this is far out. The previous European model showed a completely different thing. So no model is really stubborn, and I guess that's a good thing, as when we have a stubborn model that throws things off, as we really don't know which one to believe. At this point, both models are jumping around. They are showing snowstorms, and they have been showing for quite a while. It's just that, I mean, they're just jumpy. They're really jumpy. And notice that if you can see right there, a little bit of snow for northern Illinois. Is it much? I don't know. Possibly. You can see up to 5 inches for those snow plowers out there. Michigan, and the moderate event. Again, don't look at this and be like, oops, here in northern Indiana, we lucked out. Not much snow. I mean, this could change, and it will change for sure. We just know that there's a bigger system coming. And notice that early on in the European model, in the European model runs, they weren't showing any signs of colder air, any signs of, if I looked at the height anomaly, which I do every day, there was no sign of blue. There was just orange. And when you have a strong low pressure system, you always have a blue. So this really started to kind of show itself up in the last couple of model runs, but it has been consistent ever since it's showing up. So that is a good thing, Notice that it seems the European doesn't go out farther than this, but it seems like the pattern could be breaking further up north. If we were to look at the GFS model, you could see again that big system. It would be a strong one, it would be a powerful one, and again around that worst time frame. Not the worst possible day, but one of the worst time frames, again, obviously around the holidays, lots of travel. But notice that this system, very powerful, very strong, gives way to more possibly cold air, more chill behind it, and really the warmth doesn't have a chance to come back in the strength that it did. You can see then it kind of, the cold air reappears, and it doesn't really, just the warm air doesn't ever take back. So once that storm passes through, that storm may be kind of vital to the shortening and the limiting of that the warm pattern. And you can see, I mean, up until Christmas at least, we'll be looking at very warm temperatures, but that big storm may offset several weeks of weather. If we were to look at the precipitation from the GFS on this snowstorm, or just rainstorm, snowstorm, really, I mean, it's impressive. Notice the first storm to the south, also impressive amounts, but it seems that it will just be getting very active across the east. Notice anywhere in that purple that is above 2 inches, so a lot of real estate, a lot of heavy populated areas, Oklahoma City, under there, Little Rock, St. Louis, Missouri, Indianapolis, I always say that wrong, and someone told me last time how to pronounce it. I still, Indianapolis. I'm sorry. Bear with me here. But cities like Lexington as well, Louisville, Kentucky, Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati getting in on some of this rain. And again, this is just a forecast one. This will definitely change, but overall, precip is headed. Whether it's going to be in the form of rain or snow, it's still yet to be determined. But it seems like a big storm is definitely on its way. And if we were to look at the 8 to 14 outlook, notice how they backed off on the warmer temperatures. Yeah, they're still there, but you should have seen a couple days ago. The 8 to 14 was looking bright red like this. Now it seems to be they're starting to back down finally in confidence, and are starting to bring in more blue color or colder air. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.